Okay, so let me roll back. So I was talking with Marinho about instead of using an HTTP server exposed in Erlang, for us to use an interface from Erlang and call it directly, sending Erlang terms to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it would literally send text, and then Erlang has a eval thing that it would like parse the terms and then just compose like structures and everything. It's basically Erlang.
Yep.
So that's one option. The second is make an intermediary thing that we like a C code that pings uh, Erlang, right? That gets spawned as an Erlang service that basically does the interfacing with C. That's another option.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like using HTTP is kind of a hassle because we're gonna deal with like JSON, HTML, and it's much better to just resort to the plain boring Erlang language, like a record in Erlang. That's better because we already receive bytes of that thing, just serialize it as a object, not as an object, right, but as a thing in the in Erlang itself, and then that's it. You see?
You can call it
So I
an
think that's a
object.
better approach.
OOP doesn't have a monopoly on that term.
Yes, I know. I know. I just wanted to avoid the term, but anyway.
Okay, sounds good then. I think actually going with the Erlang route is going to be more insightful as well. So let's go through the code that already exists.
Right. So we were doing some changes here. I'll keep them.
Sure.
So let me drive over the project because we basically got crushed, right? So, oops. So the base project is essentially uh let's start from here. So the database is where I'm putting the stuff
Yeah, and
for.
about that, I was talking to Marinho, and I don't know because my guess, and you can disagree, confirm or not confirm this, Magita. My understanding is that when the client does a movement, I don't know, go 1 pixel to the left or whatever, we're gonna send that as an
Mhm.
update to the SQL database.
Yeah, essentially yes. I
Yeah,
mean, we would not want to do every damn thing,
that's my
right? We
question.
want to do in batches.
Exactly. I was thinking more about 5 ticks instead of per tick. So
Yeah,
then we
like
accumulate that.
like those are optimizations where we should consider already upfront on the design, I think.
Alternatively, you could do it every tick, but just say, okay, a tick is like, it's not every millisecond or whatever, but rather is
Yeah, but
further
that's
apart
essentially the
than
same
that.
effect of what I'm proposing here, which is that we accumulate some stuff and then we send that as an update to the database instead of doing it every single time there is a change in the state of the game.
Right.
But yeah, go on. So we have an example of MySQL.
So
What do we have
I'm
in mind?
thinking about this here. Like we we would think of how to like we can certainly optimize Postgres in many ways, and it can scale phenomenally if we are splitting the tables like scaling or horizontally. So that wouldn't be much of a problem. Um, because think of this, Erlang can surely handle this load, right? Of sending every tick, like every square your character moves, let's say, positions right in the field that coordinates. Every XY coordinator coordinates. Sorry, I'm sorry. My brain is melting already. We could send that, but I don't think that still would be a problem. We can still optimize enough to handle this. And then we can take performance and then see how it goes. But essentially, I'm migrating stuff there. So there's the first SQL file, which will contain. We're gonna go over that shortly.
And just to be
I have.
100 a little bit more further on that thought that you said before, my plan is to like we're gonna spawn a hundred processes, and each one is a client moving to its character to the left, and
Yep.
that's how we're gonna evaluate how the server behaves.
Yep. So we can do that. And let me see here. So the main thing we want to do is to be able to communicate with the database and then just use this Erlang layer as literally just some pre-validation and exposing what we want, right? So it's like a layer for us to expose the features that we want to the MMO to support the client. So the
Yeah,
client doesn't have to know what's on the database.
doesn't have to know
We
at all.
could do it another way, but I
And
think
just to
that's
be
okay.
100% transparent and get this out of the way as fast as I possibly can, the reason we are not using Racket Tower is because we don't have abstractions to do this with it yet. We need locking. We probably need
Yeah.
cascading already. We need a bunch of stuff that Postgres already has. So this is definitely the best to a better tool for the job. Otherwise, we would use ours because why not?
Well, it is fast as well, right? I don't
Yeah.
think ours would be fast. Uh, and the goal of this project is a little bit different, right? I think the scope is easy. We just want to make it scalable, like
Yes. Distributed
scale
systems
able, as
scaled.
people.
Yes.
So anyway, so Erlang LS is basically for the LSP, and then on including these directories because they are the dependencies
Sure.
essentially.
Mhm.
So include them so we can have completion. I have a flake, then rebar. Let me show rebar, which is where we put the dependencies, and then in the end we just do rebar 3 deps,
What is
and
cowboy
then
again?
it gets the dependencies. Cowboy is the server library, and
Sure.
then is the session handler for
Okay.
it. I don't think we're gonna even use it now because we're basically going to use the normal C stuff, right? The Erlang interface or something analogous, like just spawn opening a port and then communicating via socket. Uh, that's even better, I guess.
Yeah.
So the source code is all splattered here. We can organize in whatever the way we want. Um, and the name of the module needs to be the same name as the file in Erlang. So I'll start to go there, okay?
So just to be clear, a module in Erlang is just like a namespace. It doesn't have any fanciness as far as my understanding
So
goes.
the point of what's the point of a module in Erlang, right? It's an isolation unit. So it's a agglutination of a bunch of functions. Uh, there are no top level declarations of terms, right? So there are no global variables, let's say. So they're
Okay.
just functions laying around that point to things that like procedures, right? The not procedures, but like actions that they perform with no
Mhm.
side effects. Oh,
Mhm.
they no sorry, they can have side effects. They just cannot be impure. Um, there's no concept of impurity, and then we just export whatever we want other guys to see on here, other modules
Wait.
to
Backtrack
use.
a little
So
bit.
let's say
What do you mean by there is no impurity though?
you don't have mutability at all.
Oh. Okay.
It simply does not exist. Uh, I'll go to the hello handler.
Okay.
So we have a thing
Here's
called,
the secret, folks. How do you get rid of the immutability? You just don't support it. You don't support
and that's my
mutability.
debate with that was I wouldn't say a debate. That was my discussion with Marinho when we were talking about this. Erlang achieves all of these features, right? Not by targeting FP, but instead it got into these FP terms by chance, right? They just like went restraining the language by saying, okay, how do we fix this? Oh, by getting rid of this. Oh, how do we fix this? By getting rid of this. And then essentially they reach the same thing as a normal functional language today, right? But back in the 80s,
Convergent evolution.
convergent evolution.
Okay.
Uh, so anyway, so a module is basically that. So there's no fancy thing on it, and it must match the name of the file. By the way,
Mhm.
uh, you can load a module. I should show this. By the way, you can load the Erlang shell like this, and then how do you load it? When you load like this, it's gonna be on the file, so on the directory. So you can just do See, don't forget the dot. The dot is basically terminating a statement. That's a
Mm-hmm.
syntax that comes from Prolog that's inherited here, but that has no semantic meaning apart from that. And then you just import the thing you want. So server, and then just compile the server. Notice that I didn't compile the hello nor all these things, right? So they're not loaded. You need to do those.
Mm-hmm.
It's like lazy. It's like dynamic. Like everything's dynamic
Yep.
here. They're just like this here is a thing that's pointed here. This is this module. You see?
Yep.
But this is just a normal atom in Erlang. This is like ABC. It's just ABC. It's like a Lisp quoted atom,
Man,
a
and I gotta
quote thing.
say,
You see?
I was reading a book, and the guy purposely used ABC to talk about like, is ABC a function or an atom or a symbol? And every time I remember my Gita, man. Every time.
Because I just use ABC.
Yeah, and the guy used specifically that one, no caps, ABC.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay, I have some questions about the
So
syntax though. So how do I read this? How do we
read
so
what?
start, for instance, on the buffer on the left? Is that a function?
Pick this value. So this is a function that picks two arguments, and the underscore here is because the LSP will complain that this is unused.
Yeah,
So I
yeah, yeah.
basically just put it
And I
should complain.
remember that the
But
name
anyway,
of variables is capital. Is that correct?
yes, the name of variables is cap capital. So
Yeah.
the first it should be like uppercase. Uh, Assignments they're like equal only, and then everything inside the statement of a function, all the expressions need to be with a comma.
Sure.
So this comma is the same thing for Prolog, and if you learn Prolog, it makes sense because Prolog is a relational language, right? So is a logical relational language, and then the comma is an or. Sorry, it's an and there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically saying this statement needs to hold, this statement needs to hold. So these propositions they all hold, and then it makes this statement here, this proposition hold too, if all of these are true. So in Prolog, this is how you would read this. But Erlang just borrowed the syntax without this relational closure going through. Because in Prolog, it would write something like, for example, ABC again, X, and then it would say XYZ, A of X, and then that, and then it would do
I see.
DEF, A, that. And then when you're doing this, when you pass like 1 here, let's say, then you're saying what are the values for A? Like, okay, let's suppose I pass this, right? I could invoke it like this in Prolog.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? That means search for me what are the valid propositions where I have A and what are the values for A that I have restraining the part of the set for 1.
Yes.
So what are the propositions that hold when X is 1?
Yep.
So it should return a list of them, right?
Yep.
That's the point. So that's why Prolog is basically search, right? Because you're just doing search
Yep.
of propositions. So
One
anyway,
question though. So the only
sure.
non-capital things that start with non-capital letter are functions and symbols, or they call those atoms in here.
They call those atoms.
So lowercase stuff are just atoms. Even functions. Functions they are just atoms in the bean compiled,
Okay.
as far as I know.
Okay.
So they just points to something else, right?
The
In that
return of
case.
a function is the statement that returns with with a dot.
Uh, it's the last statement. The dot is just marking the end of it.
Okay.
So if you're gonna do a function that has multiple, like in Haskell, for example, you would do XYZ, X, and then you do, I don't know, IO, format, which is the print function. Oops. And then you would put something here to print, like hello. Uh, P, and then you put X here. So, X in a list because this receives a list. So that's a dot. That's a simple thing, right?
Yep.
But what if you want to take the case where you can send an actual list with only one element or more?
Yeah, this is the pattern matching that we used before. I remember.
So in this case, it will complain because this guy was already defined, so you're redefining it. So you need to do this, a semicolon, you see? And
Mm-hmm.
then it will define.
Which is fitting because the semicolon in Prolog means or.
Yeah, so apparently
Yeah,
there is a
this is
bunch
called
of inspiration from that then.
end or, I think, in fact. If you go to the term table in Erlang, it's still called like that. So I could call here just recurse, right? Use recursion, invoking this for the rest of the pattern. And then it would be invoking this guy all the time. And then, anyway, this is a crappy example, but you got the idea.
No, I think I got it.
So things you have the case off, which is like Haskell. You have like OK, ABC.
I don't remember. Is the pattern matching exhaustive? Checked?
No,
Exhaustively checked? No.
no,
Okay.
it is not.
Of course it's
So
not. It's a dynamically typed language.
Well,
there's no way you can do that.
yeah, I guess that makes sense. I forgot about that detail.
So you would have this, for example, as a case, and then just for our remembrance, you can emit something here, but it's again an and or. You see,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can pattern match like other stuff. But if you put like this, otherwise, this is a atom, so you need to put this. And pattern matching the rest as that. You see,
Yep. Okay, so I
and then
think
the
I.
result, the returns can be crazy. They can be whatever. They're all atoms, right? So it doesn't matter whatever you return here. You can return wherever you want. Right,
Sure.
it says top level, blah blah blah. So
Sure.
a BX.
Okay, so now I think I can read it. So now we can go over the functionality. So we have hello handler.
Let me just see here. What is wrong here? Oh, I need to end
And there's a dot
and
missing
then
somewhere.
dot. Yeah. So this would be the syntax. Quite pretty. So
I
uh
really like I really like Erlang's try statement. I took
Try.
I
inspiration.
don't remember how it was. It was weird, I remember, but I don't
Yeah,
remember
I
how it is.
yeah I took
But real quick
inspiration
here, let me just
for
finish this so I
style
can
from that.
go. I can go have dinner real quick. Uh, just so you
Okay.
guys can start doing something.
Sure.
So there's this thing called a behavior, right? In Erlang, a behavior is like an interface, essentially, for a module. So when you import a behavior, you're specifying that it should behave that way. So you should export. I was going to say expose, and then I said export. You should export a specific kind of this is specific functions. So if I hover over here, there was a thing that told me. Yeah, whatever. It's not showing here. I don't remember. I don't know why. I think if I omit this, it will. Well, it is not. I don't know why. But essentially, like, it enforces a behavior, how these functions should act, and what other things can expect to take of this function. So it's for contracts, basically. So you're specifying here that Cowboy Router requests a thing, a module, that happen to be named as this atom, you see?
Yeah.
That when it hits the slash, it will come here and then it will say, okay, I expect this have to have an init thing that if I pass a request and a state, I get this back, some whatever this back. I expect the allowed methods, so we're just getting a get method. What are the types provided? So text, XML, and this guy. And what the heck? My Discord restarted.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay. So if I get the if I get this pattern, I match this hello, and this hello happens to be an atom for this function that I can pass a request and a state, and then it will give me an encoded garbage that I can use to reply. And then you can make auxiliary functions, whatever. Like this is all free, but this is the point. You see?
Okay, so how
So
do I
that's
call
it.
it?
Like,
How do I launch the server?
so I'll show you cool stuff, right? So let me see if I can share my whole screen. Just give me a sec. I can because I'm not on Wayland. Thank you. So you can do this here. I could load rebar as a whole. So let me do that. Rebar 3 shell. It should spawn the entire thing. And then here it should, in theory, be already running. So there's this thing called observer dot. I don't recall what was it.
Wait,
It
if
shows a
you do
window.
rebar shell, it's already running the server?
Well, yes, because it has this behavior application that expects this function called start. You see?
Ah. So we
So
could
if
make a
I
client
think
and
if I
connect to
start,
it.
yes. So if I think if I go to the browser, in fact, let me try on the. I think I have insomnia somewhere. I have insomnia.
Oh, that's so old school days, bro. It's been a while.
Yeah, I was even pointing here, and I think on 77. Yeah, 7070. Send couldn't connect to server. Maybe I spawned on the wrong thing. Let me see. Rebar 3
Man,
shell.
something's going on with
Now it's
Mario's
working.
audio.
Yeah, it's like this since last session as well.
From
Okay, now it has started. You
from
see, it
time to
booted up.
time, it sounds like a special effect out of a Transformers movie, man. It's weird, Mario.
Right, look at that limits.
Uh,
Yeah, it's working now. I mean, it's not working, but it is connecting. You see?
okay, so we cannot like communicate anything, but it is at least connecting it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I tried to change something on the XML thing, and then I broke with my name, but we were getting rid of that anyway, so that's not a problem. We can totally. But here's the thing: you can modify stuff. Like I modified this file here. Maybe not this file because you were gonna have to reboot, right? But you should be able to just do this. And then it recompiles the file.
Oh,
You see?
interactive
So you
development.
already have the new. Yeah. So that's great. You can do this, and it's extremely easy. All right, it completes. So observer start. That's what I wanted. So you can even do this. Oh, there we go. So this window here, it shows like
Wait,
debugging
this is
purposes.
coming
It
from
shows the
where?
processes from Erlang from the
What?
VM. So server, for example, it
Wow.
shows like the supervisor for the server. If I make a connection that will last here, it will show the connection. This is the range thing. This is the sub thing for Cowboy. This is the thing on Cowboy, like has a clock, a couple of other stuff. All the processes, you can kill them if you want, I think. Yeah. You can, yeah, this is pretty good. All the ports that it's opening for us.
So it comes with a task manager out of the box.
Yes. It's more than a
Jeez.
test manager, actually. I would say it's like you're like the looking at all the things instantiated in the operating system, which is the VM, right? In that case.
Wait. So
Anyway,
we are
I'll
looking
commit
directly
this.
into the beam.
Yeah, into the stuff running in the
Can we
Beam
check the
instance.
registers? Or the I guess the virtual registers?
That I don't know. That I
That would
think
be
you're really
cool.
begging too much.
That would be like
Monitor.
very. I would be very jealous of Chime not having now one of those.
So homework for 50 minutes while I go have dinner. Uh,
Sure.
try to get started by opening a port. Like search for Erlang ports and try to like make something that we can communicate with another program like Zig. Like try to make a Zig thing that sends Erlang records and then Erlang can read them.
Sure.
Maria already knows that Erlang has the like a vol equivalent, right? You can parse a term and then like inside the Erlang utils. So we can parse Erlang and then just get stuff. I'll be right back.
Sure.
I I don't think you even need to explicitly parse things if you are using Erlang's built-in port system, because that thing is made for transmitting Erlang data structures, Erlang terms,
Okay.
right?
So I removed my screen from the stream for a moment because now I'm gonna have to open Emacs, open a terminal, all that stuff. So right now the screen is black. And you were saying something. Mageta interrupted you because he was in a hurry, Marinho. So you were talking about um, um, being inspired by
Yeah,
Erlang.
yeah, yeah. I took some inspiration from Erlang and also from Lua actually about how they do error handling that influenced the design of Sal's if actually.
Oh, okay, I see. So let me clone the code real quick. So we have two ways to do this homework. We can try to make a Zig client, and I don't think we need to parse anything at all. We just need to see if it works. Assuming that it's not gonna throw literal garbaggio on us. Uh, because if it does, then we're gonna have to parse that. Uh, but I just want to see like Erlang and a Zig client doing some stuff. So we could, in one of the ways of doing this, just I guess uh, just making a Zig client for now, and that should be plenty. So Lyceum. I'm almost there. Uh,
Okay.
okay. So this thing, this flake that Magetta made requires impure, which is sad. Uh, okay, so my Emacs is ready. So I think I can share the screen now. So the screen is back on the stream, and now I also will share the screen on here. Sure. Okay, so
Speaking of Emacs, I started looking into Emacs again. I think I'll try to use it for some time, but I need to get a configuration set up first.
you don't need to just copy Magetta's.
Well, Magenta doesn't have modal editing, so
What do you mean doesn't have modal editing? Do you mean like this?
no, I mean it doesn't. It probably uses like Emacs normal key bindings, right?
Well, you can
It
change
doesn't have
that.
it doesn't have evil mode or something.
Oh no, but that you can install after the fact.
Yeah, I did think about that. I'll probably try it out just to see if it works for me.
Okay, so
Um,
which thing do we want to try? Do we want to try to make the Zig client thing, or do we want to try understanding how to launch, how to prepare their server? I guess that's the way to put it.
I think we need to know how to launch the server, like how to get it prepared and
We
set up.
need both. That was not really the question, Marin. We need both.
Yeah, but what's the point of having a client if there's nothing for it to talk to? So I think setting up the server first is the way to go, and then we can look at the clients.
Well, in that case, let me pick a browser and let's search Erlang ports, Magenta said. Okay, so there's an image. Not very high quality image, but that's fine. We don't discriminate in here. So we have Yeah, this is basic. Yeah, this is basically how it works. This section outlines an example on how to solve the example problem in the previous section by using a port. So there is a problem example. Oh wow. Okay, so you basically want to multiply by 2 and do a plus 1 in a distributed manner. How cool. From an Erlang perspective, it's preferable to be able to call foo and bar without having to bother about that they are C functions. Here, the communication with C is hidden in the implementation of complex this. In the following sections, it is shown
That's
how this module can be implemented.
okay.
Okay, so my understanding is that this can be applied to whatever couple of Erlang and other language.
Probably, yeah.
The Erlang process that creates a port is said to be the connected process of the port. That's a weird nomenclature. All communication to and from the port must go through the connected process. If the connected process terminates, the port also terminates. The port is created using open port. Do we have that already? Open port.
Probably.
I think we do. Mm, open. I don't know if you do. No. Oh. Open. No. And open. Also no. Okay, so we don't have it. It seems to me that we don't have it. This should live in the server file, right?
Open port. Yeah, it should probably.
Okay. Um, interesting. Let's continue reading this. The string this is the name of the external program, including any command line arguments. Interesting. We do have a start though. We do have a start. Did Magetta say that the cowboy thing is for the XML, or is this for routing?
That's for routing. I think, if I recall correctly, the XML parsing is actually handled elsewhere.
Yeah, I think this is that the XML parsing is actually this. No, not this. This. So Magetta was doing the XML handling by hand because laws apparently. Uh, the second argument is a list of
Well,
options.
kinda.
In this case, only packet in 2. This option says that the second byte, the 2-byte length indicator is to be used to simplify the communication between C and Erlang. The Erlang port automatically does the length indicator, but this must be done explicitly in the external C program. The process is also set to trap exits, which enables detection of failure of the external program. Sure. So my understanding
Your understanding?
is that this start function thingy. Um, what the heck
That's
is
basically
this?
the entry starts. What the heck is what?
This. What is this piece of syntax here?
Uh, that looks like a placeholder.
Hmm. Okay, it's not gonna tell me. Cool. Amazing. So here's the deal, though. Here's the deal. So help me try to read this, Marinho. So when you say register complex, is this like just a random atom?
Well, yeah, it is an add-on.
Yeah, but this doesn't represent
But I
anything.
think, but I think in this case it actually represents the name of the C program.
The name of the C program. Interesting.
Oh, it's actually the name of the module. I see.
Yes, it is, but I don't know why you need to do that. Okay, let's go with this first though. So let's actually go and ask what the heck is this? Okay, so that's not a good sign. Okay, so do we have something in caps? There. No, we don't. So we don't know what that is, what that piece of syntax means.
Yeah.
Okay. It seems to be some sort of like constant of sorts or global variable of sorts. Let's copy this though. So okay, so the way that it knows that this is a server is because Magenta set the behavior to application. We also should also take a look on what the heck. Uh,
I'll be right back. Give me a minute.
behaviors. Behaviors are from in a supervision tree. Many of the processes have similar structures. They follow similar patterns. The supervisors are similar in structure. Mm-hmm. The idea is to divide the code for a process in a generic part and a specific part. Mm. Oh, there we go. Ah, interesting. Consider the following code for a simple server, which keeps track of a number of channels. Other processes can allocate and free the channels by calling the functions alloc and free respectively. Mm-hmm. I see. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Um, okay, so this is how you implement a server. But then it's saying the code for the server can be rewritten using a generic part. Okay, which is basically a bunch of functions, I guess. What is this? So, in Erlang, expressions. So, what is this? Send. Sends the value of XPR2 as a message to the process specified by expression 1. The value of expression 2 is also the return value of the expression.
I'm back.
Okay, so look at this. Look at this. So the looking at the behavior section here, it is saying that you apparently are supposed to separate the generic parts from the specific parts of your program,
Yeah.
which is very well common. But look, then we have a server rewritten to be generic, which is basically a bunch of functions, right? This is like a bunch of functions.
Amazing.
And I was looking to what this does.
Apparently, that's the syntax to send messages.
Yeah, this is the syntax to send messages, yes. Um, cool. So let's go back here. And a callback module. So here's the kick. You can send modules right? That's my understanding of what the heck it's happening here. This is the name of the module, and this is calling. I'm understanding that this is qualifying, right? So this is the name of the server
Yeah.
module, which is not in here for some reason, which is weird. And then you're calling that function that we saw before, but you do pass a module to it. So they're not only used for
Specifically, that's
grouping.
the name of a module. Yeah, that's actually the name of a module, right?
Yeah, here. So apparently you can do something with them, if I understand correctly. Like the module matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty like what you should be doing in any language always, which is to separate the generic parts from the specific parts. This is exactly that. Um, well, anyway, so going back to the ports thing, so this is the name of the module, complex one, which is okay. Apparently, the start with one argument, which we are not using. Uh, yeah, we are not using actually. Let's actually use it to see what happens. So this is a start one and init one. I don't remember if Mageta mentioned this. Should I launch Emacs from Nix to have LSP? Did you notice that, Marin, by any chance? Hello? Hello?
Um, I'm not sure actually.
Mm. Okay.
Maybe. It's a very solid maybe.
Yeah. Maybe we're not gonna cut it this time though. Um. Okay. Next question though. Do you see that this complex thing is not the name of the module? So this is just. Oh, you think that this is the name of the C
Oh, I'm
program?
back.
Hello, Magenta.
Yeah.
So we decided instead of making the Zig client, Marinho picked to try to make the server first.
Hmm.
And then we encountered this page here with this very
All right. Yes,
descriptive
this
picture.
reports. Yeah.
That's a lie, by the way. This is not very descriptive. And then we are trying to understand what this does.
Oh, it is launching a process, and then you communicate with the port on the process.
Yeah, so I have some
So
questions. So
on
what is
that, it's
this?
still right. All right. So the interrogation mark, it's a
Question
macro
mark.
as far as I know. Yeah, the question mark.
It's what?
Let me confirm it here. It's a macro. So
Oh
it
yeah.
is
So
actually
okay, cool. Um,
it's like a. Let me see here. Oh, come on. I hate the fact that Google deletes a few special characters because it understands as part of the query.
yeah. So maybe that's what happened when I tried to search it. Yeah, but we should
I
just
see.
look at Erlang macros. Macros.
Uh, yeah, it depends because I think that's a thing that you define. Yeah, you see there the
Yeah, no, you can define your own
like
macros.
macro one. Yeah, but look at the macro one. Like you see, it's the same syntax. So I think it is that.
Oh, you mean the question mark?
Mm-hmm.
I see. Oh, here it is.
Oh,
Predefined
there it is.
macros. The name of the current module.
Returns the name of the
Very
current
convenient.
module. Okay. It's like
And the same C trick. They also have it. So in C, you also have pre-established global variables that they hold this type of information. Interesting. Okay, so let's go back to the ports now. So Marinho, not Marinho, Magueta, maybe you should help us try to read this because I think you are, you know. So I'm gonna try
Do
to
I?
read it and then you're gonna say if I'm correct or not. So this is a start function that, as it's saying here, this also takes the command line arguments that we are gonna pass to the spawn function that comes from apparently it is already baked in, and then you pass the name of the module, you pass the init function and the list of the list of. But this is already a list. Why does it need to do it like this?
These are not arguments. This is a list. Like these are not like command arguments,
Yeah, but
right? These
here.
are the things that are gonna be including any line arguments. Yeah, it's the external garbage. It with its arguments. I think that's why. Man, scroll down. This is not a good example.
But this is exactly what we want. This is
Scroll
communicating
down.
with another
No, but
another program.
this is no man. Like the problem here is it's just too abstract. There are too many atoms with no meaning. I want to see them with
Oh, you want to
there.
see the complex. Okay, so this is in C.
Yeah, I want to see the other stuff, right? Otherwise, it's meaningless. Or the entire program. Go up. I think it's up there. This, I think.
Okay, let's go from the start.
How
So
port.
start is calling the same thing, and then init. Init is this. It's calling the same thing again. But no, it's actually
Mm-hmm.
no. It's finishing with calling loop, passing
It's
the port.
open.
And as far as I can tell, this is receiving a message from the other
Mm-hmm.
from the client. And then
And
your
then if
pattern
it
matching.
patterns the call, caller, and message, which are both IDs, identifiers for the like caller is an identifier. A message is well, it's a message, and then that bang is like
Send.
send a message to this. Yeah, and then it's basically saying with this port, so this thing open,
So this is actually sending things to
send
the
this
client.
message. Yes,
Okay.
so it's the thing that's open, right? And
Yeah.
then it's basically saying send the self. That in that case, I think this self, I think it's just reflecting to the PID of the process that you currently are on.
Sure.
Um, and then it's gonna send the PID and the first thing of the tuple,
Question.
and then the second is it's a command,
We
right?
should be able to see in the client it receiving the PID, the command, and the encoded message.
In the command line.
No, not a command line. The client, because we're gonna see a client receiving this thing. My
Oh
question is, we
yes,
should be able to
some
identify these
clients
three
should
things.
receive this. Yes,
Cool. Then we
and
have a
then it's
caller,
after
stop.
it does that, it expects to receive another thing, and then it does to the caller now, and then it loops again. If it's to stop, it stops, and then if it's to exit, it terminates the port and then stops too. So go down now.
I have a question though, before going now. You see that this and this, these are both atoms, right?
Uh huh.
So what is the meaning of those? We don't have any function called complex in here. And
Oh, you
also,
do
where?
complex. So here's the thing. Go up.
Go up.
Like complex is the C code, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's what I
referencing
thought.
something.
And the command is also
Uh,
a C code?
the common no. Here's the thing. It's a ref. It's an atom pointing to something, right? In that case, the
Mm-hmm.
complex. The command is just an identifier for you can match somewhere
So
else
this is a tag.
to say, okay, this is a command. Yes. So
Sure.
where is that being used? Can you copy like search command in this code?
Uh, I can. And there's only three
No.
occurrences.
What? Oh, probably the C code then. Oh, right, it's sending to the port, so the C code handles this.
Okay. So read exact,
Go down. I think it's
write
down up on the
exact.
top level of this.
This is
Read
the end.
CMD. Read. Go up. So it picks a buffer and then it says read exact, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, return that. And
Mm-hmm.
then read exact with
It's here.
true. So it picks two things out of that.
It
Right.
yeah.
It does some wizardry. And
Yeah.
then write exact. There is no such mention as what's the name of the file of the
No, no, no.
C
But they
code?
are there are more there there is more C stuff. So this is the
This is
entry
to handle
point.
the port. Mm-hmm.
Uh, but how are we establishing a connection though? Am I tripping?
There, that's the problem. So the name of the thing is complex.c. That's how they know it. It's again the name of the file. Man, this is
Oh,
so
so it's worse than the name of a function. It's the name of a file.
yes, yes. Because it's treating it as a module, right? It's just an external module.
Ah.
Can you search the Erlang? Uh, yeah. Let's see.
Here we go. It is this file.
So this is the function we were. Great. Now search for complex.c. Where's that? It's whatever, right? Great. So it's up to the reader.
Isn't that the
It's an
program?
exercise.
Isn't that the program that it shows at the beginning of the chapter?
This one?
Like in
No, it needs to be C code, right?
I'm understanding
it's
it
in the
needs to be C.
it's in the problem. It's in section 3, problem example.
Problem example. Oh, it is this one. Yeah, Marinho was right. This
Hmm.
is the one.
Okay.
It is, to be fair, it is written here. And this is the previous section, this one.
Uh huh.
So we have a complex.c file which has a foo and a bar, which are
Right.
just two functions. Okay, but we don't
Bar
under.
is inefficient, by the way.
Well,
That comment is so Marinho, man. There's nothing more Marinho than that comment. My question is, we don't know what command is then. It's just whatever.
yeah, like I would expect this thing to either be a pre-established contract, right, or a thing that it sends and then the C code handles to know what it is. But can you like it doesn't mention anywhere, right? What is the what's that thing about, right?
It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't mention.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it doesn't.
So we don't know what this
Maybe the
is.
next session.
No, but
Yeah,
I
I
think,
think that's just an atom, so I think that's just pointing to something to be read later. But that's
sure.
it.
Yeah, but I think this is what we want. This is kind of like we can copy paste this, but I wonder how we can integrate that with what you did already, which is this.
You trash all that I did actually. You don't integrate.
I don't need to trash
Like
it
you're
because this
just
is a
gonna
start with
comment
arity 2 and we
line
need to start with arity
line.
1.
No, that's the behavior. You can change that, but you comment from line 13 to 14. No, sorry, to 17. Oh, actually, sorry. Supervisor you keep. So 17 you keep, and then you put your code there.
Okay. So we're gonna put this thing. We don't have the external program thing going on. Is that a problem if I send this like an
You
empty list here?
you're free to alter the start, man. You don't need to keep it like way that way.
No, but in that case, I don't need to comment your stuff. Because as far as I can tell, you can have the same name of a function if the arity is different. Um, okay, let's copy this thing. In fact, oh, okay, this export does matter as well apparently. Let's copy that. Okay, very cool. So let's bring uh, Oh, okay. So you can make. So what I think it's happening is that you're creating Erlang functions for the functions that you actually want to be external, but that fact is completely hidden. You don't know that implementation of foo is basically calling C. It is kind of the same. It reminds me of the same trick we wanted to do with SML. You think you're calling an HTTP server implementation in SML, but it was all a lie all along. It is
Mm-hmm.
C.
Yeah, it's misguiding you.
It's a facade,
The facade.
It's a
a
facade.
mask.
Okay, wait a moment. Okay. Marguerita and Marinho, please answer me in the chat that I am about to ping you both. You don't just write it down. I need to answer the person asking me. I'm gonna continue reading this.
Ooh, zippy.
So we are registering the complex,
Mm-hmm.
then process flag, whatever that does. So this is probably some error, some failure handling, error handling.
I don't even know what these functions are, man. They're, those are all nonsense.
And then we have loop, which does exactly what you would expect. I have a question. Uh, my understanding is, at the moment, that every single C communication with Erlang is going to use this file.
Mm,
I think the name is like this because of that. Like every
hmm.
single C function that you want to do the communication with Erlang, all of them will require this sort of byte manipulation nonsense. And then the way that you use it is very simple. You just uh, yeah, you just do this. You just do that. This is not a good. This is missing information. Yeah. So here's the catch. This is undefined, right? The
No, that's defined in the.
C code.
no, it is defined in the C code, but this is just because you are linking with it. You are not including that file here.
Right. Yes.
Like it's just a mere
Oh,
of a coincidence that you happen to link with this file, which happen to have this function and this function
yes.
there.
Yeah.
Another thing that I just
So
noticed
they
is these are
exposed.
are these IDs?
I think. Oh, right. Could this be the? Oh
Oh.
man. Oh. Of course, it's converting to
Is
C,
this
right? I
is this
forgot
like
about this.
Godel um what is the thing? Numbering. Yeah. In which a number is assigned to each symbol of a mathematical notation.
Which is just piano numbers, but rebranded.
Yeah. So the way that they are doing it is implementing Godel's numbering uh, um, with this. So each function now has an ID. So
And
that's
it's
how they
one
do
based, for shame.
it. You mean it's like one base? What do you mean? Oh, instead of zero?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, but we learned something. So for all the functions that we need to interrupt, we need to register them in here. We definitely gonna forget this step in the beginning. Definitely. So interesting. I just learned about this the other day, and now I'm like, this is programming, and here it is. Okay, that's cool. So here's a suggestion. Here's a suggestion. Do you well, we need to make a decision. Do you guys want to finish this C example, or do you want, now that we know what we need to do you guys want to go straight up to Zig? Because this code is
Uh,
going to be the same, right? This thing is going to be exactly the same.
well, let's try to run it and ping with the C code first, and then we try to go to Zig.
Sure. Uh, from um, okay, so let's pick complex there. So what other things do we need? We need Earl com C. Not in here. This. There we go. And we also need an entry point. How that is it called? Port.c. Okay. So we theoretically have all the C functions. I think I do have GCC. I was apparently unable to download a few things there, which is always cool. Do I have GCC though? I do. Okay. So GCC, XT, PRG, client complex, client Earl common, and then finally client port. Yeah, this is because we are not using an include. We are being very dirty boys right now. This is not how you do stuff, and this is not how an example should
Who
teach you how to
cares?
do those.
Who
Uh,
cares, man? That's certainly how I would do it.
I doubt it. I think you would add the include out of muscle memory. I highly doubt you would not add the include, Magita. Highly. Okay, so here's the first question. Do we need to keep this behavior application, or are we going to comment that out for now? I'm
Um,
going to comment that out for now.
yeah.
Um, okay, so what do I need to run? Is it saying in here? Oh, I just run the Erlang thing. Sure. So if I do what it's saying here, am I gonna have it's gonna load everything? Doesn't sound like it. Server, is that how you do
Yeah,
it?
I did. Yeah.
Non-existent.
Oh, you need to be on the. Oh, right. You need to roll with rebar. Like,
Oh.
rebar, blah, blah.
Um. Uh, bruh. Okay. Rebar.
Reaper
Halt.
3.
Rebar 3 shell. Shell.
Rebar 3 shell.
And by the way, when you need to quit, prefer using halt because you might leave dangling processes somehow.
Oh, I need to take care of that now. Yeah, I remember. Um. Okay, there's a bunch of things that are unused. That's fine. What the heck's going on? Okay. So now I need to do server, right?
Right.
Sure. Warnings, but it said okay there, so I should be good to go. So run server, start, and then you just pass. Wait a moment. This is kind of misleading though. I just noticed this is not doing networking at all. This is like grabbing a compiled C
Yeah,
program and call it in a day.
the port is just a Erlang port, right? So it's still networked by data standard, but it's still just a kind of like a socket, essentially, but pointing to the bean.
Yeah, but why would your first example to the public something that is not doing what people are expecting?
Because it's simpler.
Um, that's an okay answer, I guess. 4. Oh, it has memory. Okay, okay, SBCL, could you learn this, please? Like, I'm not asking for much.
I can still use RL
Rep.
wrap on top of SBCL.
No, you can, but you shouldn't have to do that. Like, come
But if
on,
you already have it,
Silverware
why
REPL
would
has
it be?
that. We don't have a stop function. Uh, uh, we do. I'm confused. Hmm. Did you guys understand what's happening there? We do have a stop function.
Uh, oh
Am
yeah,
I
we do.
exporting it?
Yes,
Oh,
that's a good. You are. It pass one argument. I don't know what the argument is though.
so to load
State. I think that's just a behavior function. I just do halt, like
halt like this?
halt, and then well, it's a function, right?
You have to call it.
Yeah.
No, but I didn't want to do that though. I
Well, you
wanted to
did.
reload. So to reload, you just do it like this again?
I think you. Yeah, I don't know if that reloads. There is a way to restart. I think it's
Oh, but it doesn't have
restart.
full memory, so it doesn't remember the previous sessions. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, but that's a little bit more intricate implementation though. You need to have like a hidden file in the folder. So I'm not gonna remove that many points. Now it does. And wait a moment. I closed this thing without having a stop, so the process is running still.
Well, you called halt.
Oh, that's true. The halt, it's exactly what Magetta said. The halt is to precisely to kill the the children processes. Okay. Okay, so it works. Are we happy?
Oh well, that's a strong statement. But yeah. Can you just alter anything on the C just to see like how it
Sure.
interacts? Like how do we pass a pointer? Can we even do that? I don't think
Pass a
we can, right? It's
pointer.
just a.
You mean pass a pointer here?
I was thinking of like how we would communicate with. I mean, it doesn't mutate on Erlang, so I think it doesn't make sense to pass there.
Well, I have no
Uh,
idea what Erlang will do if we put a pointer here.
yeah, I don't think we can call it with a pointer from Erlang. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that's fine. Like for what we need to do. Now let's jump to Zig and try to make it work there.
Sure. So the first thing that I need is Zig. So the question is, what is the name of the package? I'm gonna guess Ziglang or Zig.
Just give me a sec.
Zig. Just Zig. Okay. Marinho,
Yes.
to do the you said once, right? So the only tooling that is required to run Zig is the compiler.
Yeah, that's basically their philosophy. Like, if you need tooling, uh, it's part of the compiler, and you call the compiler to use whatever tooling you need.
Hello world Zig. There. So let's go here. So, that's very interesting. Because as far as I
Yes.
can tell, Zig allows us to reuse these two, right?
Oh, it does, technically. Zig can, in fact, compile C code.
And I do not have a mode. Uh, so how does that work? So package install Zig. Oh, I need to update Melpa. Marinho, do you remember the comment to update Melpa?
Don't you need to do package update or something like that?
Package. Um, I don't think that's the one. So update Melpa Emacs. Updating packages.
I'm back. I was thinking
Refresh
of writing
contents.
a B plus tree in Zig, by the way.
Uh, sure. I don't know. Well, I do know because if we do make it in Zig and we do it ourselves, we can replace the one in Tower, I believe. Uh, hello?
It's done, apparently.
Yeah.
The package
My
refresh.
Emacs
Uh,
died, but okay, you were alive. Zig. Yay! Zig mode. There. There we go. Okay, cool. So we need two functions. So I'm gonna guess this is how you do it. Foo, and I already don't know the syntax for the types. And then you do. Does it have a return? Yeah.
It does.
I'm gonna guess it's infixed. So this.
Yeah, you do need a semicolon after the return, and also,
What is the syntax to put the X in here?
you say x colon and then the type.
This.
Yes, don't use int. You should be more specific. If you actually want a signed integer that is the size of a 32-bit integer, you say I32.
Ah, Rust feelings. Okay.
Yeah, but it's better than that because you have arbitrarily sized integers. You can have an I17 if you want.
ooh, you just said the thing you shouldn't have said with Rust in the same sentence. Oh, it's like Rust. No, it's better than that. You shouldn't have said that.
Well, I agree that it's better in terms of like you can have an i17. I wouldn't say that. My comment was just a matter of syntax because this is very Rust. This notation here.
No, man, I'm not disagreeing or agreeing or anything. I'm just saying the internet will cancel you for
Oh, they
that.
can try, and I don't really care though. So here's the
You are
question.
with my
So
spirit.
can you
With
do this type of shenanigans that we are doing in port.c in Zig? Can I call a function that is not being imported?
No,
You can
actually.
keep this in C, right? Oh,
Well,
right. To use dynamic linking,
well,
right? That's the
actually,
point.
here's the thing. You can, in fact, do dynamic linking with Zig, um, but you can't just say pub fn because that means it's public within Zig's module system. If you actually want it to be visible from C and the C interface, you have to say,
Okay,
I
stop
think
right
it's
there. Stop right there. How much time do you think it would take for us to translate DC stuff to Zig stuff?
Oh, it sounds pretty straightforward. I
It
mean, I don't
should.
know Zig, but
Exactly. But
yeah.
I don't know Zig as well. Waring is the only one that can tell us.
I mean, if you really want, you can say. Uh,
Can't you do an
if you
include
really, really
and
want, you
then
can say Zig translate C, and it will do it for you.
Wait. Can you pick a C program, put the Zig compiler, and it will create Zig code?
Yes, it can do that actually.
Okay, let's do that right now. I don't really care. I want to see that.
look at the laziness?
No. It's not only because well, I am lazy, unfortunately, yes, but come on.
I am
How does
definitely lazy.
how does that not sound cool to you, Mageta?
I mean, it does, but something can be cool and lazy at the same time.
You are not wrong. I want to see what is the quality of the code that it's going to generate. If it's going to generate like this is going to have a trash name or whatever. Um,
Um,
Trash.
yeah. Disclaimer: I never actually use Zig translate C. I just know that it exists.
ah. Okay, so it's going to be an adventure for all of us then. So C to Zig. Aha. Zig translates C, and then you pass the files. Okay.
Yep.
Zig translates C, and we want uh, port. Are these
So we can
warnings?
literally rewrite the C B+3 in Zig in like a few minutes.
Probably. I think.
I think
Yeah.
this is didn't work because this is wrong because of what I said before. Uh, so be um, let's do it properly. Uh, so what else do we need? We need this, and we need also the other one. File not found. Oh, this is wrong. What? stdio not found.
I
Um,
probably need to import a few things, right?
I don't
That's
understand.
possible. Yeah.
What do you mean by import? This is in my machine. How it didn't find
Yes,
it?
but it says the point is Zig can't find it, right? So it tried
Oh.
to map to something that it doesn't know what it is, because it's a C
Uh,
language. So
stdio.
probably that requires some human intervention. Like it's not just magic.
I am very disappointed by that though. I wanted the magic. I really did.
Pa-pa-pa-pa. Oh, you
Oh,
need
you
to
can
say
pass an
dash
L.
LC.
Ah,
Right, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna guess the order doesn't matter.
It doesn't, and there it is on standard output.
There's a lot of garbage in there. Holy. Uh,
Yep, a human would never write code like this, I don't think.
so it
Well,
seems
who
to
knows?
be very similar to how they do WASM compilation. It's a bunch of
Yeah.
underscores and a bunch of non-human names. That's a lot of code for a single function, I'm not gonna lie. Wait, is this? Yeah, this is the one. Um, so I'm starting to think there's some sort of pre-appended prelude that they add before doing the real stuff. So this is just vanilla stuff that comes with every single translation.
I mean,
Uh,
it does need to define all the C types, right?
no, but what I thought it would do, hear me out. I thought it would pick this and see, oh, this is a C integer, so I'm going to put an I32 on it. and it would be a very one-to-one mapping.
Yeah, but that doesn't quite work because the size of a C int is machine dependent.
But it does have access to my machine. It can know that. Jesus.
Sounds
Uh,
ominous.
oh, it also just like adds the functions from the includes as well. So I thought it would just do. Man, I thought it would be
Hmm.
so much simpler than this because I thought it would say, okay, I'm gonna the references exist, but I'm not gonna add them here. It's your obligation to
Can you
provide
add a comment
complex.zig.
there? What happens if you add a comment?
Add the
Like,
comment.
here's a question: how does it work licensing? Like, for example, imagine you have a GNU program, and then you generate a random uh, Zig variant of that, giving the GNU program as an input, right? Does it have to share the license? Because it's technically not the same program. It just does the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So does the license like
Oh, there
count?
were some stuff that broke because it didn't find it in my nicks.
Well,
Interesting.
that depends on whether it is considered a derivative or not, and that's like that's lawyer talk essentially. I don't really know what would.
We're not advising anybody
Yes,
to
indeed,
consult
indeed. I
us,
don't
but
really know what would legally qualify a piece of code as derivative of the other. Um, so I can't really tell you whether running this tool on GNU code, GNU licensed code, uh, would qualify as derivative or not.
No, but I wanted to do what Magget proposed. So this is a comment. How do you do this in C? This?
My hunch is that it does qualify, but again, not a lawyer, so I don't
This
know.
is potentially a license that you gonna be screwed if removed. Okay, good luck. Um, ooh. Okay. So
look,
so it seems that at least so Zig translation keep comments. That doesn't seem to be what I want. Aha! I exactly.
Yeah, that's an open issue, apparently.
Ah, okay. So apparently nobody thought about what Magita just said. Like if this is a license and you can get really, really, really screwed if you remove it, and you do the translation. And another thing, this is 1600 lines to convert 30 lines.
I
Um,
wonder how it would be to convert like a
That's
thousand
not
lines
quite
of a
30
language.
lines though, because
Oh yeah, there's the
no,
libraries
no,
and
no.
so
Here's
on,
the
right?
thing: hash include doesn't actually just import stuff.
it
It's
should it should
literally
have an option for that.
no, no, no. It doesn't because what hash include actually does is it's literally copy paste the code
No,
from the
I
file that
know.
you
I
give
know
it.
why it did 1600 lines. Because it is growing to the includes, grabbing the code of there, and grabbing the includes of that, and also translating that. I understand. I'm just saying that it should have an option or a flag that it would just say, okay, I'm going to assume that you will have a complex.zig and an Erlang zig, and then just doesn't add the other stuff and put the burden on me, and I would be fine with that. because we can make a complex.zig and an common.zig. We can, but instead of doing
Uh,
that, it
but
just
here's
picked all the includes.
but here's the thing: if you're going to provide your own includes anyways, and they are not meant to be translated to Zig, you don't actually need to translate the C code because Zig can just import a C header
No, but I
directly.
will provide. You said something that not correct. I will provide the complex.zig in Erlang common.zig. My complaint is very simple. I understand why it did it like this because it's assuming that, oh, I'm gonna just pick the things from the including
No,
the
no, no, no,
file.
no, 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 no. It's not assuming. The semantics of hash includes literally is splice the contents of this file at this point.
Not for the translator. The translator can put whatever semantics it may find it fits for this.
The translator has to respect the semantics of C, and the semantics of C, well, actually the semantics of the C preprocessor is that hash include means splice the contents of that file here. So that's what it does.
Uh, you are not wrong, Marinho. I'm just saying that it's. I'm gonna be really. Wow, there's many options in here. I'm gonna be really sad if it doesn't allow me to do what I said, because that means that it is not. It doesn't have granularity in the because it has a C parser and it has a C compiler, but it doesn't allow this sort of like I'm gonna parse it, but what the preprocessor would do with the include, I'm not gonna do it because you asked for it.
But that's just the thing. Like, if you don't plan to,
Debug.
like, if you don't plan to actually,
Okay, so actually the command line is not ideal because it is I did it like this because I wanted to restrict the help for only this case, but it doesn't work like that.
well, this is a compiler, so it does have a lot of options.
No, I know, but this is not all the options for this
No, it's not.
subcommand. Okay, but then here's the question. I'm not gonna go through over all of these to see
Oh,
if there
wait,
is.
wait, wait. Just a second. So a lot of these options they're directly from C, right?
Yeah,
Like
many of them.
the fpeak and such. Oh,
Yeah.
just a sec.
Yeah. Um,
You can link else. But I think Zig uses the Lemons is highlighting. So Zig does use the LLVM. That's why I
they're
think, right?
they are yes, they are implementing a self-hosted backend, but it's not done yet. So
Mm.
Wow, that's a lot of support. Elf
Yeah.
C. What the heck is this?
Intel language. Home object file format. Never heard of that.
Flame 9.
I never heard of Macho. Oh, Mako. I've heard of that. I saw that actually. Mm.
Wow, that's a lot of targets,
Plan
bruh.
9. I mean, Plan 9, you could just ignore it. No one cares.
savage.
Yeah. Okay, but now here's the question: if we don't have the chance of just telling Zig to not apply the preprocessor semantics of this, are we willing to have 1600 lines of code to these three files?
No, we're not,
No,
because
I
we
don't
can
think
just
so.
compile the C with Zig and it will be easier.
I don't want to have C in this thing though. I want to have only Zig.
Sure, and we can actually implement the program in Zig, like piece by piece.
Yeah, we just need to keep the C interface, right? But the rest can be in Zig, the main functions, right? I think that's a plus. Like, you just keep this so we don't touch it. In the future, if we want, we can rewrite this. But for now, just go with that, man.
I mean, it's small enough that we can rewrite it by hand at some point, but
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. I think now we instead of doing, I want to get away of this thing of calling an executable and like Again, very weird choice of first program, example program. Let's make the networking thing. Do you know how to do that in Zig, Marin?
Well, first of all, we should probably read the next chapter in that Erlang thing, because the next chapter is precisely about.
What is
Oh,
this chapter?
it's actually about using the Erlang term. How do I say
Where
it?
can I go to the next
Encoding.
chapter though?
Well, you have parts, right?
Yeah.
Where are you? Chapters. Parts, Earl interface. That's the next one.
Oh, here. This section outlines an example on how to solve the problem by using a port L. Oh, and this is what we're gonna do instead of HTTP, right?
Yes. Yes.
Amazing. So let's do that. The following example shows an Erlang program communicating with a C program over. Wait a moment. Uh, Question. If we have this
Yeah.
file, we could compile this to have an executable and then call this one in Erlang, right?
We can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Communicating with the C over a plain port with homemade encoding. Okay, so this is pretty similar to what the heck we were doing before.
Yeah. It's basically the same thing. And then it says.
Ah, now we are talking. So this is where we're gonna see C stuff doing networking, I guess. Yep. So what the heck is... There is a new file. There's a new file there.
I'm guessing that. I wonder if that comes with Erlang or not, or
What,
if
the
it's
C
provided
file?
somewhere. No, the header actually.
Wait, are you asking if Erlang comes with a C header for Erlang?
Apparently, it
Uh,
does.
yeah, apparently yes. Which is like common stuff to interface, right? Emacs does that too.
Oh, I didn't know that. So Erlang comes with a pre-prepared header file for if you want to use C, and most FFIs are C anyway. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so if that's the case, I already have it, right? Because my Nix provides the included rebar. Is that the case, Magita?
What? Sorry.
Because where is this file? Because here is quoted, so it should be in my local directory, right?
Right. It should.
But
Yeah,
I
that's
am
an
using
example.
a flake with rebar. The flake provides this?
Yeah, I have no idea. Probably.
Probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, no, I never tried this.
Yeah,
okay,
if
let's
you
try.
scroll down, there's an example of a GCC call that includes the include flags.
Bruh. Bruh.
No, 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 no.
Uh,
Look, dash I and dash L, right?
no, yeah, I see that. I definitely see that. But we're not gonna need this, right? Because we're gonna pick the file out of the Nix store and convert it to a Zig file, and that's gonna live
No,
locally.
no. If we actually want to use the Erlang interface, we can just use the headers that come with Erlang directly from Zig.
I don't understand what you mean.
Like Zig can actually import a C header.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is we're gonna have a file here, which right now is this, but this is gonna be a Zig file. Um, and then this thing is already available via Nix. Hmm. I see. I think I see. Okay, so let's try compiling this thing. So am I gonna need this?
Uh, Probably just to say where the
Oh,
the
that's really
oh,
unfortunate. Well, Magetta, how can I get the Nix store path to these things? Do you remember the easiest way?
Ooh, let me see. Where would that be? Along with the Erlang compiler, I assume. So
Yes.
try to type which Earl. Yeah.
Like this?
No, just Earl. Yeah. Copy that. Just double click. It copies. Select everything. And then go to the beginning, do a read link, because this is still just a link.
It's like this?
No, all together.
All together, right?
Now copy, double click,
Ah, stop. There.
and do read link again. I don't think that's the last one, but just for sure. What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Like, do ls on that and paste that.
LS on this?
No, on the other path you copied first. Ignore this. No, I mean, you are on the bean, right? So go back to the root of that directory. Like, delete the
Yeah,
Earl and the bean.
Oh.
No, Linus. Like, ls and then delete these two paths. Yes.
Lib.
Okay, lib. That looks like it.
Erlang.
Erlang.
Lib again.
I think so.
What do we want to find again?
Oh, it's on user local
Interface.
OTP. So find OTP. I think you want OTP. So lib
Um,
Erlang. Then it loops again. OTP, is it there?
no.
No. So go back. You can use a find and then probably it would. User, maybe?
User. Include.
Include. That looks like it.
Aha!
Oh, there you go.
Ah, we are
Yeah,
so
that's
big
the
A, man.
Nix
Look, look,
life.
look at this. Oh boy. Okay. So, but this is the path though. So let's go. So GCC dash O. Ah, fuck. Okay. Um, let's do this. So GCC O. XT, and then this.
look at this and be jealous.
Look at this and be jealous. What? Well, I mean, there's probably a locate equivalent, but we are very old, Magete and I, so we do the old way.
But you are younger than me.
That doesn't mean anything, because what matters is the mental age, not the real age. Although we are all old here. Question.
Yeah, I'm
So,
probably 60. Just by the way I dress.
so here's the question though. So where is the because this is just for the include, right? So
Yeah.
is
Uh-huh.
there we're gonna have to do something like um,
Lay.
there, there, L, there. But instead of user include, we're gonna do Erlang, I think lib, and then
Don't know if there are headers there. No, these are for libraries, right? So it's an I in that case
no, but it's L.
instead of
Look,
L.
no, the first one is
What
for
the?
libraries.
That's weird. That's very weird. But okay.
So then we do complex. Oops. Lib complex C Earl, and this is also wrong. because this is gonna be in a different, because it's gonna run the other thing first. Uh, this, this, this. No such file or directory. Interesting.
Apparently, it interpreted the flag as a file.
What?
It interpreted the flag as a file, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But why?
By the way, you're doing C. Yeah. Not find lay, no such file
Yeah,
directory.
it's thinking it
I
is.
think you need some included lemmas. I need you need the I, the dash I, to point to where the dynamic linking or the static
This dash
linking
I?
of those things are. Yes, it's not there because it's probably already in the path, right? But since we're using Nix, it doesn't give you that. So it is that dash I. But you're putting that on the include, which is not sorry, it's the L indeed, which is what you put there. Can you do a less on the lib directory?
Sure. 1 second first. Just to be sure it's not this. Oops.
No, it is right. This is right.
Yeah, okay. So you want to do an ls on this thing.
On the lib, yes. Because if there is no, it should be the directory where I
Uh,
don't see the lay there. I think you want another one. Probably this one too, but but here's the thing, like C would only know how to get it if it knows on the path the dot so, which is the shared object, right? Or the
hmm.
uh, or the dot A, which is the static. Yes, so you want that.
Okay. So instead of doing that, I'm gonna do user lib. Aha. Okay. So now, okay. Are we gonna assume that the Erlang code is the same, or are we gonna copy paste it? I think we should copy paste it. Uh, why not?
Famous last words.
Famous last words. But it worked. It worked before, so why not? Why not right now? I noticed a thing though. So now the we don't have to register. Hmm. Why? Am I tripping? What is the complex shoe thing though?
Maybe you are dripping.
Mm, no, but did you notice that? I think we need this, and the new version just added what changed. So I think we do need this for the Godot's numbering thing. This we already have. This works. Okay, it's time. Rebar 3 shell. C server. Unused, unused, nobody cares. Uh, then we're gonna do server start x. Okay, autocompletion is not working. I don't remember if autocomplete worked before. Okay, and then server full 3 15. Did I change? I think I did. Okay, and the other one should be like just double. Oops.
Still,
Yeah, but this is still not what we want, right?
uh,
This is still not doing networking. This is literally just grabbing the executable out of it.
Which is fine. Like we don't really care. how
No, it
it's
is not fine,
communicating as
bro.
long as it does. Why?
Because we want you to run the Zig thing in your computer, press buttons, and then on my side, if I'm running the server, I want to receive the buttons and call your stuff.
There's a section called C Notes, but it just has a link to another documentation
Like
page.
you can still open. Let's see. Like that's a port. You can map that to a socket port.
Yeah, but
Like
why
not a
is not
socket,
showing
but
me
like
that? Ah,
no. But I mean, I'm talking about Zig doing that, not Erlang.
you're talking about Zig doing that.
Yeah, Zig is just an interface to Erlang as an intermediary thing
No,
to.
but then the Erlang side would do exactly the same. It would import an executable.
That's kind of like RPC, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Fine. Um,
No,
I
it's precisely IPC.
Well, in that case, Mageta is right then. So maybe Erling doesn't have to know that he's being bamboozled.
Here.
Aha, communication. Linking the code, sending Erlang terms, building terms. I have a question. So
Yeah.
what's gonna happen is that the Zig code will pick a SQL command statement and it's encoded to a way that Erlang understands. And then Erlang will decode that, acquire the SQL, pass that to Postgres. Is that?
That's
That's yeah. That sounds messy, actually. Thinking about it.
No, but I don't. What's messy about it?
There are
I
too
mean, it
many
doesn't have
fake
to send
layers.
yeah, it
But
doesn't have to send SQL directly. It can send arbitrary Erlang data structures. So
yeah, but then
we
that's an
could.
intermediary format for the SQL, Marinho.
No, it doesn't have to map one to one to SQL. It can just be like it can just be an encoding of commands that make sense in the context of the game, like move here, attack that, pick up
Yeah,
that
but we're gonna have
item.
to translate that in a server side. That what move left means in a database. That's not changing how many layers we have. That's just adding an intermediary representation. Mageta is complaining
Yes,
about the layers, but I don't see a way to get around this. It needs to have at least 3 layers. Wow. To connect to a
Yeah,
distributed
I'm
Erlang.
kind of thinking if the architecture is not just dumb, because then Zig, like if we can't like if we need another extra layer to put
but
Zig in the middle before the client, then it's not worth, is it?
No, 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 no. What do you mean Zig in the middle? Zig is on the top.
Like you would have the client, which is what's running on the user's computer, and
Yeah.
then you would have a Zig intermediary program that is connecting to Erlang ports that needs to be along deployed with the server. No, or did I misunderstand what we're
Maybe
doing
I
here?
am the one misunderstanding, but because what I understood is that when you click to run the game, Zig is gonna do behind the hoods, aside from showing you stuff, is gonna do behind the hoods the connection with Erlang, with the server, and then when you do stuff visually, the same executable is going to the port to the socket and sending stuff there. Erlang is receiving that, literally just deserializing it and passing that to SQL, to Postgres.
But the but where is the Z code at? It's not over the user's computer, right? from what I understood, on how you instantiate the port, which is not a Unix socket, it's a Beam socket, by
I
the way.
think the Zig socket,
A Beam port, actually.
the Zig port is gonna be like glued to the Raylib visual stuff for the game. It's all in the user's machine. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Marin, what did you understand?
Okay, the documentation that we read until now is if you want to implement Erlang functions in C, essentially. And then there's a section talking about creating a C node, and it links to the documentation page that I sent you that you are looking at right now. And there's a section there about connecting to a distributed Erlang node, and I think that's what we're going to end up using.
Yeah, but that fits with what I explained. So this code is gonna be in Zig, and it's gonna be the backend of the executable that the gamer is running.
Exactly, like that's what I'm saying. We're then communicating with another Zig layer, right? That's
No,
my,
but
my
we
point.
don't. At this point, we can then communicate directly to Erlang.
That's my understanding as well, Marin. But Mageta is saying something different.
No, wait. I didn't understand your point now. Then to connect to Erlang, we need to put a Zig code there that Erlang on the path can import.
No, but
I
that
saw
was
that.
no, yeah, but that was on the section of what was the name, Marin?
Uh, the example problem in that part of the documentation is basically saying, okay, I have a C function, I want to call it from Erlang.
Yeah,
But
that was why.
that's not quite what we're doing, right?
Yeah, what we are doing, I think it's more this, Mageta. So maybe when we go through this section of the tutorial, like, look, sockets and stuff like that, maybe we don't have to have the file in the path at all. Maybe that was just because we didn't find the correct documentation to follow today.
Yeah, because that's what I was talking about. If we do have to have the file on the path, then it's another dumb layer.
Oh
We
no,
don't
that
need.
would I would agree completely. It would be
We would
very bad.
need to have, right? That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this is the solutions because what we actually want is section 1.6 connecting to a distributed Erlang node. So you have a program in whatever language, in our case Zig, and we want to communicate with an Erlang node, which is our server. And apparently this is how you do it for C.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then we don't need to do the thing on a path, which is what was weird from the start. Like again, but now it makes sense. Now that Marinho pointed out what is this example about, now it makes sense that oh, we are dumb. We should be following this, which is okay. So we are 7 minutes to finish. So I think today was fun anyway because I now I can read Erlang. Now I can. We played with the Zig. We discovered
Yeah, at
that
least we
this
know what to
is a
do
thing.
now,
Yes.
which is a plus.
Yeah, we do actually do know what to do. I'm very impressed by this because believe it or not, it's not that common to be able to like, oh, I just have a C parser just cause.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like originally, Andrew Kelly, who is the creator of Zig, he was like, okay, so I have Zig. It's currently built on LLVM, which is our backend, and I want to interoperate with C. Why don't I just expose LLVM, which is a C compiler, in Zig, which uses LLVM to emit code? And that's where the whole Zig can compile C thing came from.
Yep. I remember when Zozin was doing Hugo, like Hugo for C, Hugo Haskell's Hugo but for C. He was trying to find a C parser because to make Hugo you need to be able to parse C code, right? Because you want to be able to tell what are the types of a static typed language. And then he decided to go with Jai because Jai has as an utility as a library a C parser out of the box. So it's very nice that Zig also has this type of stuff, so you can do this, uh, which is again not supposed to be human readable. And it's not the worst. I think I have seen worse. Um, but very 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 cool. This is bad though. What is this?
Yeah, in Zig, if you want an undefined value, you have to explicitly ask for it. It's not like C, where you can say, oh, int x, and x is undefined because you didn't give it a value.
What if you do int x without this in Zig? Is it 0?
Actually, you can't do that. You have to initialize it.
Ah. Okay, okay, I see. I see.
And if you don't want to initialize it, then you say, okay, undefined, and it will be uninitialized because
Is
you
it
explicitly asked for it.
is everything a var? We don't have lets?
No, there's const actually.
Oh,
Uh,
const. Okay, const and vars. I see.
yeah, it's using vars because, well, this is translated from C, and in C you don't really have immutable bindings, right? Well, you have
Yeah.
consts, but C consts are weird, and people don't tend to use them, so there's just a bunch of vars
That
because
is kind of
that's
a
what.
weird convention though.
Why?
Because if I'm calling a thing and ignoring the thing that is coming out of it, why just not call the thing?
Because if you do that, you are telling Zig, okay, this doesn't return anything, which is not actually the case for write command.
I'm telling Zig that this doesn't return anything. That's a weird way to have the type of that, sir.
Yeah, if you just say write underscore cmd, don't discard the output. Zig will look at that and say, okay, so this function must return void, right? Because we're not taking a return value. And if it doesn't
Oh,
actually
okay.
return void, then that's a type error, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's
That's the
what I
same
said.
thing as ML, because if you have an intermediary function that returns something and it's not the last one, it will complain that it needs to be unit, right? So that's why the like Okamo has
No, no,
that
no. It is the same thing with Haskell. So
semicolon. From,
that's why in Haskell we use void function. It's specifically to pick an output of a function and return the unit out of it. But in a
it's
statement-based
ignore.
programming language, I am this is weird. This feels unnatural to me. Uh, because this is a statement, not an expression, so it should be whatever. But I guess I
And
understand
I,
that.
I much prefer this syntax than Rust. I can read this.
No,
Yeah,
you should not
that's
say that yet. You didn't see the operators that I saw Marinho using.
That doesn't matter. That's already more legible than any Rust code I ever read or wrote.
Oh, then you read very few Rust code. This is very
That might be the
close to
case,
how
but
Rust would do it as well.
the sampling I have is terrible.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but this is not that far off from how you would do it in Rust as well.
Man, look at how many implicit casts Zig does in a 30-line program. That's crazy.
Look at how many. Yeah, so in line 781, we have one, two, three, four, five, six. Six casts, is that it, Marin?
Basically, yeah.
That's a lot of casting, bro. That's a lot of casting.
Uh,
Anyway, so now I think I should make a branch for our stuff. Uh, there. Sure. So B, C, there. So this is gonna be what? Uh,
Ports. I don't know.
ports. Sure. Uh,
We should start using Jira to manage our project.
don't do this to yourself, Mageta.
I mean, we
Just
could use
imagine
GitHub
we
board.
start doing Nekoma. We start doing Nekoma Jira, and we could make a Jira.
We
Now that I
could
think
make
about
a
it,
Jira. That's a good point, bro.
Could make a Jira and then we start doing Scrum meetings out of that.
That sounds like a bad idea. The Scrum
It's
meetings, not the Jira.
it's not a bad idea because I think our meetings are fun. I'm gonna finish the recording now.